Did I use the highway code? No. I think I flicked through it like once and it was just useless. So hello there and welcome back to my channel. My name is Saskia and today I'm going to talk you through how to pass your theory test first time. So I did my theory test like honestly 2 years ago, so I'm not sure how much of it has changed. I know that when I was doing my theory test, at the end of the theory test we like trialed a new technique that they wanted to use, but I don't know if that was ever implemented. I hope it wasn't because it was awful. Like theory test in 2019 in summer, I did my practical test in February 2020, just before the world kind of went wrong. So I thought I would talk about kind of how to actually do the theory test. And first I thought I'd just, tell you my stats, not to brag, but to prove that like, anyone can do it, because I'm not very smart at like common sense things sometimes. So I got 14 out of 50 on the theory, and then I got 66 out of 75 on the hazard perception, which I think is a pretty common score. I know that my theory went really well. Hazard perception was a bit iffy, and I will talk about that. So first I'm going to split this in sections, the theory, then the hazard perception. I'm going to talk about, the experience and then how to do well. So first of all, for the theory, you book it online. I think it's £25. It's a lot of money to sit and do a test basically. And you go to a test centre, you can pick your test centre, like it doesn't matter where you go really. And you just turn up, like you book an appointment. I think I booked for like 11 AM because I didn't want to do like a really early time and have like the people that were there trying to get it done like before school and stuff. But I also didn't want to have like midday because I was like, well, people might be on like lunch breaks coming to do their theory. So I tried to kind of go for like 11 o'clock. I would go for like 11 or like 2ish. I feel like those are times when it'll be most empty. You basically just go into the building. I got really lost. You show them your provisional license. They kind of give you a piece of paper. I think you have to sign something. And then, you can have like, they give you a locker if you want to put your stuff away. Like I put all of my stuff away and I just kept like a wooden spoon I think they gave me that had a key attached to it. So I was just carrying a wooden spoon in my theory test. And then you go into it's almost like a school library. And then it's just like, like computers. Like it was like a U shape for me, but like it's just a big old desk of computers, and they have like screens either side of them so you can't like cheat. But then you sit down, that you have headphones if you want, like take your own headphones if you want. I think that's allowed, but like I just used their headphones because I didn't care. You kind of sign in, you get like all oriented to how it's supposed to work. Like you do some practices to like check that you kind of know how to click things and stuff like that. And then you just get started on the theory. So the theory test is out of 50 questions. It is multiple choice. You literally just, get given a question. Like it'll be something like, what is the speed limit on a dual carriageway? And then, it'll be like A, 60 miles an hour, B, 70, C, 50, D, 40 or something like that. And you can get asked a lot of questions. There's like 700 or 800 questions that they can ask you, and you need 43 to pass your theory test. So I did get myself the highway code because I thought it would be helpful. It was like £2 in the works or something. I'm gonna say don't bother. Did I use the highway code? No. I think I flicked through it like once and it was just useless. I originally literally just googled like driving theory UK like test practices, and I just did loads of those. And then I realised there's only like 3 or 4 practices online. So it got to a few months before my test and I was like, right, I'm gonna get one of the apps. And there's 2 different apps on the App Store that are like the main ones. Like if you go on the App Store and you look at like the top paid apps, it's literally 2 driving apps because they are just the most popular ones. So different people will recommend different things, and obviously I can't speak for the other app because I'm not going to buy 2 apps that do the same thing. But basically I got the driving theory test 4-in-1 kit, which basically has highway code, it has hazard perception, it has theory practices, and you can like check your progress. So you can see like, oh, you got 42 here, and then you got 47, and then you got 45, and then you got 42, and like you can see that, like you can see once you're at a stable level of getting passing grades and things like that. I definitely found this app very helpful. I literally just sat and did practice tests all the time. On the bus, do a practice test. Waiting for a meal to come out at a restaurant, doing a practice test. Like anywhere I was, did a practice test, because the thing is, you have so long. Like you get like 50 minutes for your theory. I think it took me 6 minutes. Like, I don't know if that's just because I was fast or because I'd memorized the answers, but like because I knew all the questions that were going to come up. Like as soon as I saw a question, my brain recognized it from the app, and I was like, oh, well, I know that the answer is 70 miles an hour, or like icy roads, or like 4 times the speed, or like things like that. I just knew straight away. Like, I definitely recommend getting the app because basically in my theory test, the one question I got wrong, well, basically you don't get told which questions you get right and wrong, which, you know, fair enough, it would be a lot of effort, but there was one question in the whole theory test that I'd never done before, and I got one question wrong. So I'm assuming the question I had never seen before was the one I got wrong. You know, it could have been one that I had seen before and I just didn't know the answer to it. Like, if you literally learn the questions that are going to come up, and like if you learn the answers to all of the questions that could come up, you've passed your theory. You only need 43, and I know that 43 kind of sounds like a lot, but a lot of the questions are like kind of very similarly, like they're very similar, and a lot of them are literally like common sense questions, like, you know, what do you do when a traffic light is red? So I highly recommend the apps. The apps are about £5. The one I bought was $4.99, and I think the official DVSA one is also $4.99, but I highly recommend getting an app. I would say don't bother. You know how they sell those like kits where they have like a CD and like a book? Don't bother. Spend £5 on the app. Like, you will pass the hazard perception and you will pass the actual theory bit, because it will just, you just know the answers, you learn the answers. So now I'm going to quickly talk about hazard perception. So the app that I used also had a hazard perception section. First things first for hazard perception, learn how to do it. I did not know how to do hazard perception for like the first month because I never found like a welcome clip. Like, I never found like, I think I watched an introduction clip, but then one of my friends told me something else and they were wrong, and the introduction clip is obviously right, but like I got very confused. First things first, work out how to do the hazard perception. Like, work out, you know, what you're actually supposed to do, like when you're supposed to click, and like how it all works, because if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not gonna get any points. I think with hazard perception, I think it was either like 13 or 14 clips. Each one has one hazard, and one of them has 2 hazards in it. So basically, like, you know, you see a hazard developing, it has to be a hazard you're going to respond to. As in, if there's just a cyclist cycling like next to you, you don't really care. But you know, if that cyclist is indicating right and they're going to have to cut in front of you, that's a hazard because you're going to have to slow down and brake. You have to click when you would actually like respond to the hazard, so you don't click when you would start braking and things like that. Basically, there's only so many clips for hazard perception that you can do, but you kind of learn when they want you to respond by just doing the clips. And I'm not gonna lie, the clips on the apps online were much like less intense hazards than on my actual test. Like, on my actual test, I got jump scared by a hazard. Like, in the practices, it was like a little dog, like a tiny dog you'd see like underneath the car. So difficult to spot. And then in my actual test, one of the hazards was literally a white van just flung open its doors and the cyclist like almost hit into it. Like, it wasn't subtle. Like, in the actual test, the hazards are not subtle at all. Here's what I'm going to recommend actually. In between the theory and the hazard perception, at least when I was there, you got a break. Like, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, but I got like, you know, you could have up to 2 or 3 minutes to just do nothing. Close your eyes, because wow, hazard perception hurts your eyes. It is awful CG animation. And like, mine was driving down country roads, like in a circle looping around for like a minute and a half. And it hurt my eyes so much to just see like colours flashing by, and it was like, take a break, close your eyes. Like, if you have eye drops, take eye drops at the test, because oh Jesus, my eyes hurt. Basically, for hazard perception, you're not allowed to like click tactically, but I clicked tactically. Like, I clicked when I saw a hazard, and then I would also click like a millisecond or 2, you know, whenever I would recognise a little bit afterwards, just in case. Like, because basically you get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 points. As in, like, if you respond when they want you to respond 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, like along the line. So like 1 is if you like, you know, you respond as the cyclist is already in front of you. So I would kind of click when I saw the hazard and like when I would start responding to it, and then also a tiny bit after, in case I had just clicked just before the 5. So like, if I'd missed the 5 when the 5 began, I would at least get the 4 or the 3, because I think you need 3 in all of the clips, or like an average of 3 or an average of 3.5 or something to pass the hazard perception. I don't remember what you need out of hazard perception. I'll put it on the screen here. But I don't think it's that high. And I know that a lot of people struggle with hazard perception, but it really is just a case of like learning when they want you to click and just continually doing practice clips. Like with your theory test, it's just about learning what they want and learning how to answer the questions. Like I just continuously sat on my phone, did hazard perception practice quizzes, theory practice tests. Like I just kept going whenever I had spare time. Like there is no, you know, magical technique for doing the hazard perception or doing a theory. You just have to learn the answers. Like some of it is literally common sense. It's like, oh, Dave's been drinking a pint, should he drive? And the answer's no. So you just have to like actually think about it when you're in there. Think about it, read the question, practice on the app, practice online. Like if you have one app and your friend has another app, swap for a day or something and like do the different apps, see if there's different questions. But like Google practice theory questions and stuff, because you might end up with like a slightly different question. And I also Googled like hardest theory questions that can come up and learn the answers, because I was like, well, it might happen. It didn't happen, but like some of them were a little bit confusing and I don't think they were on my app, so I just learned those. So yeah, that is literally it. There is no magical, you know, technique on how to pass your theory test. You just have to learn the answers. You just have to develop a good memory. You really do. Like most people do their theory kind of as they've started their practical lessons. So it does help to be doing your practical lessons at the same time, because you can kind of know more practically what the answers are. As in like, you know, if you practice on a motorway and you can see the, what are they called? The cat's eyes, the little lights. Like one of the questions in the theory is about the colour of the lights. You know, and if you're on a motorway, you can literally check and like ask your instructor, oh, you know, what colour is this? Like ask your instructor questions, because they have to know the answer. They've done these theory tests. Like, but yeah, basically I have like 2 tips. Install an app. Absolutely, you need an app. You know, it doesn't matter which one you get. There are free ones. I tried a couple of free ones, but they didn't have like enough quizzes. It was like you can do 2 quizzes and then you had to pay. So I was like, right, I'll just pay the £5 for one that's going to give me, you know, 800 questions and get me passing my test. And then practice all the time. Like whenever you have spare time, if you have a free period in school, do a couple of questions. Like, you know, if you're on the bus, do a couple of tests. But yeah, you know, practice, get an app, take a deep breath, relax when you go in there. It's okay if you fail. A lot of people do fail. Like it doesn't matter how well you do. Like if you pass, you pass. It doesn't matter if you get 43. Like it doesn't matter if you hit the lowest cutoff point for passing. No one cares. It doesn't affect your license at all. Like as long as you pass, you passed. I hope everyone, you know, we don't know what's happening with the world situation right now and driving tests, but you know, when that starts up again, hopefully everyone passes their test first time. Yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions about theory tests, leave a comment down below. I am going to film a video like this about practical tests, but kind of mostly about managing the practical tests with like anxieties and stuff, because oh Jesus, I was terrified of my practical test. It was it was scary. This is